In our last video, we finished the powerful and often heartbreaking Book of Judges. From the rise and fall of judges like Gideon and Samson, to the terrible civil war in Israel's final chapters, we saw a nation that had no king, and where everyone did what seemed right in their own eyes. It was a time of chaos, rebellion, and sorrow, but even in those dark days, God's justice and mercy never left His people. Now, as we turn the page, a quiet and beautiful story unfolds, not about warriors or battles, but about kindness, loyalty, and redemption. In the middle of all that brokenness, the Book of Ruth shines like a gentle light, reminding us that God is still at work, even in the small and ordinary moments of life. During the time when the judges ruled over Israel, there was a famine in the land. So a man from Bethlehem in Judah, named Elimelech, took his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, to live in the country of Moab for a while. They were from the tribe of Ephrath in Bethlehem. While they were living in Moab, Elimelech died, leaving Naomi with her 2 sons. The sons married Moabite women, one named Orpah and the other Ruth, and they lived there for about 10 years. But then both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left without her husband or sons. When Naomi heard that the Lord had blessed His people back in Judah by providing food again, she decided to return home. She began the journey with her 2 daughters-in-law. Along the way, Naomi told them to go back to their own families. She prayed that the Lord would bless them as they had been kind to their husbands and to her. She kissed them, and they all cried together. The women said they wanted to stay with Naomi and go with her people. But Naomi told them, "Why would you come with me? I can't give you more sons to marry. Even if I could have sons tonight, would you wait for them to grow up? No, it breaks my heart for your sake, because the Lord's hand seems to be against me." They cried again. Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye and returned to her people, but Ruth held on tightly to Naomi. Naomi said, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Go with her." But Ruth replied with deep loyalty, saying, "Please don't ask me to leave you or turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if anything but death separates us." When Naomi saw how determined Ruth was to stay with her, she stopped trying to convince her otherwise. So the 2 women traveled together until they reached Bethlehem. When they arrived, the whole town was stirred, and the people asked, "Is this Naomi?" But she replied, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I left full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has testified against me and the Almighty has afflicted me?" They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Naomi had a relative on her late husband Elimelech's side, a wealthy and respected man named Boaz. One day, Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up leftover grain behind anyone who shows me kindness." Naomi told her, "Go ahead, my daughter." So Ruth went to glean in the fields behind the workers, and by chance, she ended up in a field that belonged to Boaz. While she was there, Boaz arrived from Bethlehem and greeted his harvesters, saying, "The Lord be with you," and they replied, "The Lord bless you." Then Boaz noticed Ruth and asked the servant in charge of the reapers, "Who is that young woman?" The servant replied, "She is the Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from Moab. She asked if she could glean behind the harvesters, and she's been working hard since morning, only resting a little." Boaz went over to Ruth and said, "Listen, my daughter, don't go to another field to gather grain. Stay here with my servant girls. Watch the field they're harvesting and follow them. I've told the young men not to bother you. And if you get thirsty, you can drink from the water jars they've filled." Ruth was overwhelmed. She bowed down and asked, "Why have you been so kind to me, a foreigner?" Boaz answered, "I've heard all about how kind you've been to your mother-in-law since your husband died, and how you left your own family and homeland to come live among people you didn't know before. May the Lord reward you for what you've done. May you be richly blessed by the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." Ruth responded, "You have comforted me and spoken kindly to me, even though I'm not like your servant girls." At mealtime, Boaz invited Ruth to join them. He offered her bread and allowed her to dip it in vinegar. She sat with the workers, and Boaz gave her roasted grain to eat. She ate until she was full and saved some to take home. When she got up to continue gleaning, Boaz told his workers, "Let her gather even among the bundles. Don't stop her. In fact, pull out some stalks on purpose for her to pick up, and don't scold her." Ruth worked until evening. She beat out the barley she had gathered. It came to about an ephah, which was a large amount. She carried it back to the city, and Naomi saw how much Ruth had collected. Ruth also gave her the food she had saved from lunch. Naomi asked, "Where did you gather grain today? Who showed you such kindness? May he be blessed." Ruth told her that the man's name was Boaz. Naomi said, "The Lord bless him. He has not stopped showing kindness to the living and the dead." Then Naomi explained, "This man is a close relative of ours, one of our family redeemers." Ruth added, "He also told me to stay with his workers until the harvest is finished." Naomi replied, "That's good, dear. Stay with his servant girls so you'll be safe in his field." So Ruth stayed close to the women working for Boaz, through the rest of the barley and wheat harvests. And she continued living with Naomi. One day, Naomi said to Ruth, "My daughter, shouldn't I find a home for you, where you will be well taken care of? And isn't Boaz, with whose servant girls you have been working? Tonight, he will be winnowing barley at the threshing floor. Wash yourself, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor, but don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking. When he lies down, notice where he is lying, then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." Ruth said, "I will do everything you've told me." So Ruth went down to the threshing floor and did everything just as Naomi had instructed. After Boaz had eaten and drunk, and was feeling content, he went to lie down at the far end of the grain pile. Ruth approached quietly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. Around midnight, Boaz suddenly woke up and turned over, surprised to see a woman lying at his feet. He asked, "Who are you?" She replied, "I am Ruth, your servant. Spread your cloak over me, because you are a family redeemer." Boaz said, "May the Lord bless you. You've shown great kindness by not going after younger men, whether rich or poor. And now, don't be afraid. I will do everything you ask, because everyone in town knows you are a noble woman. It's true that I am a family redeemer, but there is another who is more closely related than I am. Stay here for the night, and in the morning, if he wants to redeem you, let him do so. But if he is not willing, as surely as the Lord lives, I will take care of it. Stay here until morning." So she stayed at his feet until morning but got up while it was still dark, before anyone could recognize her. Boaz said, "No one must know that a woman came to the threshing floor." He then told her, "Bring the shawl you are wearing and hold it out." When she did, he poured 6 measures of barley into it and placed it on her shoulders. Then she returned to the town. When Ruth got home, Naomi asked her, "How did it go, my daughter?" Ruth told her everything Boaz had done for her and added, "He gave me these 6 measures of barley, saying, 'Don't go back to your mother-in-law empty-handed.'" Naomi replied, "Wait patiently, until we see how this turns out. Boaz won't rest until he settles this matter today. Early the next day, Boaz went to the town gate and sat down there, waiting for the family redeemer he had spoken of. When the man passed by, Boaz called him over and said, "Come and sit here." The man came and sat down. Then Boaz gathered 10 of the elders of the town and asked them to sit as witnesses. Boaz spoke to the relative and said, "Naomi, who has returned from Moab, is selling the land that belonged to our relative Elimelech. I thought I should let you know and offer you the chance to buy it in front of these elders. If you want to redeem it, do so. But if not, let me know, because you are the first in line, and I come after you." The man said, "I will redeem it." Then Boaz added, "When you buy the land from Naomi, you must also marry Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, to preserve the family name on his inheritance." At this, the man replied, "Then I cannot redeem it. That would put my own estate at risk." "You redeem it." "I cannot." In those days, it was the custom in Israel to confirm transactions by removing a sandal and handing it to the other person. So the relative took off his sandal and said to Boaz, "Buy the land yourself." Then Boaz said to the elders and all the people, "You are witnesses today that I have bought from Naomi everything that belonged to Elimelech, Mahlon, and Chilion. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, to be my wife, so the name of the dead may not disappear from his family or his hometown. You are all witnesses today." Then the elders and everyone at the gate said, "We are witnesses. May the Lord make this woman like Rachel and Leah, who together built the nation of Israel. May you be successful in Ephrathah and famous in Bethlehem. May your family be like the family of Perez, son of Judah through Tamar." So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. The Lord enabled her to become pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. The women of the town said to Naomi, "Praise the Lord, who has not left you without a redeemer today. May this child become famous in Israel. He will renew your life and take care of you in your old age, for your daughter-in-law has given him birth." Naomi took the baby in her arms, held him close, and cared for him as her own. The neighbor women said, "A son has been born to Naomi." And they named him Obed. He became the father of Jesse, who was the father of David. He belonged to Perez's family line. There are 10 generations from Perez to David. From sorrow to joy, from emptiness to fullness, the story of Ruth reminds us that God is always working, even when we can't see it. Through ordinary people and humble faith, He weaves together a story that leads to eternal hope. If you found this story meaningful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful Bible stories, told clearly and simply.